Perfect. So, welcome everyone to today's grant writing info session. Today we will be covering some upcoming grants for you guys. Before we get started, let's go over some Zoom etiquette. So please change your name to what you registered with so we know who you are, where we can contact you. Also, if you have a question, there is a button at the bottom where you can raise your hand. And then please use the chat if you don't feel like speaking. We will be monitoring the chat if you do have any questions. Please turn on your camera just so that we can see everyone's lovely faces, rather seeing that than blank screens. Please be respectful. If you do have any questions, let us know. You can also private message me or Ryan at any time. Finally, mute your mic if you are not speaking to reduce any background noise. So at Empower4X, we would like to acknowledge the lands that we are working on. So please take a few seconds to a minute just to read this, just to acknowledge the lands that we are working on today. So just a little bit. And no worries if your webcams are off. We totally understand. No, don't feel the pressure to turn your camera. Just a good thing just to have it on if you can. But a little bit about Empower4X. We are a business consulting firm. We support all entrepreneurs by providing co-working and business services memberships, as well as training and consulting. We can help you with business planning, operations, financial projects, bookkeeping, grant writing, and marketing strategies. If you go to the next slide, we do offer many different training programs, as you can see here, that can really help level up your business. So we offer social enterprise certification program, mental health standard certification, mental health support youth certification, and our grant writing university. We also offer many different services from startups to established businesses. So the number one service that we do offer is our virtual office, where you can get a professional business address. We also have consulting services that covers marketing, grant writing, technology, management, and business plans. Finally, we have BizGrams, which is a free promotional live show. If you would like to promote your business, BizGrams is a great platform to do so. We do also have some upcoming events. Some are paid, some are free. For example, the grant writing working group is a paid working group, but you get a really, a lot of support in this working group. So if you'd like to register, please scan that QR code. And then we also have our financial literacy working group, which is free. And we've partnered with ACBN and TD for that. So if you guys have any questions about financial management, that would be a great time to join that session. And a little bit about our grant writing services. We are trying to help you move from doing it to yourself to making others do it for you. So we have some services along the way that can help you, from funding summary, blueprint review, and like I said, that paid session that is coming up. Here are also some of our value partners that we would like to highlight quickly. Yeah, pretty cool. We work with Sheridan, TD, Alterna. Awesome. And
Okay.
I'd like to go over our agenda quickly. Yes, this PowerPoint will be sent to you after the session, so don't be afraid if you missed anything. But the agenda today, you'll meet our facilitator, Ryan. He will go over some grants and how we can help you. Awesome, and I would like to pass it on to Ryan now.
All right, am I unmuted? Yes. Thank you, Tiana, much appreciated. And for those that don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, but I'm also what I would consider a serial social entrepreneur. So I run a few social enterprises, namely Detailing Nights. I also run a social enterprise consulting firm called Service Kingdom, and I'm part of a team called Executives Power Up that helps with companies scaling their businesses by creating that C-suite team for them. And one thing I'm excited to let you know, Black Panther's Cage is in production. So stay tuned. Think of Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, but with Black founders and Black investors. But as I mentioned, as Tiana mentioned, part of the Empowered for X business crew, really to support those looking for funding. I do consider myself more of a grant hunter, looking at what are all the available types of capital that are out there, whether it's grants, loans, investment, but these sessions are more about grants. So a little bit about ACBN. We started just over 5 years ago, and really it was because of a gap I was seeing as an entrepreneur. Running Detailing Nights, we were looking to expand across Canada and into the US through franchising, and there weren't a lot of Black focused business organizations and none that had the mandate to help scale up companies. So we brought 6 other entrepreneurs together, said, could we create an entity that would sit down with a business owner, figure out what stage their company is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their business exponentially. And thus ACBN was born. We did start with more like info sessions and networking events, but we have shifted to capacity building. Over the past 5 years, we've been able to engage with over 5,000 Black entrepreneurs. So I definitely have to update that part of the slide. But what I'm most proud of is being able to partner with other Black focused business organizations that support Black businesses. So there's over 40 now across Canada. We're more based in Southern Ontario, in Peel and London and Hamilton, those areas, and Durham. But being able to partner with over 40 organizations, no matter what stage your business is in, we're able to point you in the right direction to an organization that can support you with your specific needs. And that's something that definitely did not exist 5 years ago. One thing I do feel is entrepreneurship is one of the greatest tools that we have to create economic empowerment. You know, convening, it's great to get in person and do networking, and even being on these type of calls to share notes. That's one thing that I love doing with my grant journey is now what is successful, being able to come back and share it, and then seeing more people be successful with the templates that we've put together. And so access to the funding is a big piece of our entrepreneurship journey and even running our nonprofit journey. So we try to aid in making that as less stressful as possible, but access to capital is always tricky. So I like to show kind of what we've been able to get in terms of funding, and it ranges from pitch competitions to grants from the city, grants from the province, even grants from the federal government or sponsorship dollars from corporations. Also, it as low as $500 all the way up to over $1 million. So you'll see when I talk about hunting for grants, it's really about finding anything and everything that you qualify for and applying. Because typically, even if it's a small grant, it strengthens that muscle of grant writing. And again, not to make grant writing or grant searching seem easy, it is, there's a grind to it, but the more that you do it, the smoother it gets. And we talk a lot about creating your grant writing blueprint, and I'll touch on that in a sec. But that blueprint is taking all the learning that you have gathered through all the grants that you might have applied for, and using that to create a template for yourself that's your own blueprint that allows you to now apply for more grants easier. It's actually like being your own AI. You know, ChatGPT is the hottest thing. It takes all this information from the internet and is able to create documentation for you. That's what you're doing in your own grant journey. Take all that information, because a lot of times the questions are very similar. So you're answering them over and over again. If you save your answers, you're able to, again, write grants a lot faster so that you're able to not get stuck with your grants. One thing that I always love to highlight is the ability to support others in getting money. One example is Rescue Youth International. They are a great organization, a nonprofit in the Peel region, helping youth with navigating the education and justice system. And again, they weren't getting a lot of the grants that they definitely deserve, only because they didn't have a grant writing team. So we were able to be that project team for them, identify one of the grants, which turned out to be the investment readiness program, and then help them be able to apply for that grant as well. Really quickly, I did see somebody ask, are the monthly workshops the same presentation? So the info session is similar. That would be the same with new events that are coming out. The working groups are the ones that are different. So that's when we pick specific grants and then we work on them together. So for example, that's what we did with the investment readiness program. So as a group, we were able to go question by question through that specific grant application, and then make sure that people got their applications in. So if you've seen the info session before, it won't be much new except for the next working group that's coming up. I'm going to be touching on that. All right. Oh, let me go to the next one. So as I mentioned, today we're going to touch a little bit on what grants are out there, but really what I want you to take from this is being able to create that grant writing blueprint. If you need support, that's what our Grant Hunter University does. It takes you through all of the videos that we've been able to compile, helping people write this blueprint. Because when you find a grant that you qualify for, a lot of times I'll see clients get stuck because it's just a grind to always go back and forth, finding answers to questions and elaborating on answers. But if you have those questions and answers already done, anytime you find a grant, it becomes that much easier to write it. And then you can really customize it to what the funder is looking for instead of always starting from scratch. One great resource that you should touch on, and when you do get the PowerPoint slides, check this out, is the Business Benefits Finder. So that is a federal program that allows you to really fill in the blanks about your business. And then the government has a list of all the grants, wage subsidies, other resources that are available, and it identifies it for you and gives you a whole list. So this has been a great resource that we've been able to use. When you get the PowerPoint slide, click on this link. Actually, I think I could show you what it looks like, just so you get an idea. This is taking us to the blueprints. But I wanted to go to the business. It's right there. And yeah, it's part of Innovation Canada. All right, so as it's pulling it up, so again, if you go to this website, actually, let me grab the website. I shouldn't be giving results yet, though. Let's see what it pulls up. Seems like my computer is struggling. So I'm gonna grab the right link. Okay, so this is because I'm already logged in, it's showing the different supports that might qualify for my business. I'll put this link in, but when you log in, it should actually make you put in your own answers. So it'll give you results that are based on your business. Let me jump back. All right, so to go through some of the current available grants, let me start with the Black Opportunity Fund. They have a program in partnership with CIBC and the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce. So CIBC created their loan program. You can get up to $250,000 as a loan for your business, which would support getting access to equipment or leasehold improvements and also working capital. But for those that aren't quite ready to apply for the loan, let's say you don't have your business plan or your financial projections, your cash flow projections done, they have a grant program where you can get up to $2,000 and support to get those things done. So that's what the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce does, is you'll see they can support you with improving your financial literacy, creating your business plan, creating the financial projections, and also improving your credit score, because the loan program through CIBC, they say the minimum credit score that they're looking for is about 600. But again, if you're under 600, I would definitely tap into how to improve your credit score. If you're already over 600, then you're fine. But here are some of the different programs that the chamber offers. So that ranges from, as I mentioned, the business plan, business operations. They have a boot camp for that, the personal credit improving, and they have a mastermind as well. So if you're going for the loan, you can kind of go through the CIBC process. They'll let you know, hey, if you need more support and coaching, they would send you to the Chamber of Commerce. But if you just wanted to go directly to the grant process, you can actually go to this website here, which I will put in the chat as well. And so their Elevate Black Business website, they're able to, you can just apply right directly to the chamber to get support. So if you already know you need help with your business plan, go directly to the source and they'll put you through the grant program directly. Miriam, I did see a question. Where do we find a summary of these opportunities? Is it on your website? Technically, yes, although we need to make it a bit easier to find. Actually, let me see if I can find it. So that's behind the scenes of my websites. Because if you go to something like ACBN, and I'm pretty sure it's somewhere on Empowered4X's website, but I won't be able to find it as quickly as our websites. And then if you go to resources, and you'll see there's a section, oh, this is a new section of our websites. Okay, so you have to scroll down on our website. Before, when you click resources, it would just take you to the bottom of the homepage where the resources are. So let me come down. So you'll see on our website in the free resources section, there's something called the funding spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet, you're able to see a breakdown and a summary of all the different, oh, is it loading? Yeah, and sorry for the slow load, but this is where we try to keep this spreadsheet as up to date as possible. So what we'll do is, Tiana, remind me to include it in the email that goes out, and you'd be able to see kind of what grants are. So everything that I'm saying is like in a condensed spreadsheet. So to answer your question, yes, there is a summary. Right, so to jump back, one other thing that I would quickly mention is something called Summer Company. And there's actually two components to it. So Summer Company is for those under 30 that are in school. You're able to get a grant of up to $3,000 to run a business in the summer. It's typically a grant that we miss. And so if you know students that are in school, or if you're still in school, definitely tap into this one, because we usually don't apply, and you're able to get up to $3,000 as a grant to test out your business idea. They do have an additional one called Starter Company, where, and sometimes it's called Starter Plus Company. So you're able to now get $5,000 and sometimes $10,000 for your business, and that's for people that are over 18 and out of school. So the Summer Company one, spread the word, let the students know they should apply for this. And I truly believe that everybody should at least try entrepreneurship. And the fact that you can get money from the provincial government to start a business, you definitely don't want to miss that. And so the Starter Company one, they are both done through the Small Business Enterprise Centers. So across Ontario, there are the different small business enterprise centers in different cities. So you'd have to connect with them to see when the next round of the cohort is going, and you would sign up. And thank you, Tiana, for putting the spreadsheet. So that's where you can see a summary. And we try to keep it as up to date as possible. Also, like highlighting it red if it's not active, orange if it is, and green if they're accepting applications. So we're gonna get better at making sure that it's up to date. Oh, I think I went too fast. All right. So another one that I wanted to share, actually, I'll share the BBPA BATES program first, and I'll also put this link into the chat for everyone. So this program I like because typically when we're trying to get money, it's to execute certain services or things that you need done for your business. So what BATES does is, it was done through the BBPA, which is the Black Business and Professionals Association. They connect you with the service provider that, let's say you need to get your business plan done, or you need to get your accounting and bookkeeping up to date. You're able to connect with that service provider, and the service provider does the work for you, and then they invoice the BBPA through the BATES program, so you don't have to come out of pocket to pay for the service. So when you sign up, you would pick which service, and I believe legal is also in there. So your business plan, accounting and bookkeeping, or legal services, you can pick one of the three. They would connect you with the service provider and help you get that done. And then the service provider is paid by BATES. So definitely one that I've seen a lot of people get their business plans done. And again, they don't have to come out of pocket for it. Then they can use that business plan to go after additional funding. It's a great way to leverage a grant to get more money without having to come out of pocket. So I did put the link there. On some of our sessions, I actually stopped the presentation and make people sign up right away. You'll notice it's not a tedious application. Really, it's more so contact information. They do ask for your ID, but you're really just telling the story of what the business does and a bit about how you started the business. And then you're picking which service you wanted to get done. And that is it. So this would be your homework for today. The link is in the chat. If you click it now so that it opens up, so you have the tab open on your computer. As you see, I love having tabs open, but make sure that by the end of the night, if you haven't signed up already, so if you've already signed up for it, definitely reach out and check to see where you are in the queue. It is a slow process to get through it because it was oversubscribed. So as they're catching up, you want to make sure and keep top of mind for them so that they support you with your request. And another thing, since they did reduce the amount of services that you can get access to, if you had signed up, let's say 6 months or a year ago, you might have picked a service that they now are not offering. So you do want to update them to say, that service that I picked before, I understand maybe it was building an app. I think that used to be an option. Now it's not there anymore. So if you picked it, you need to see, are you still needing these 3 services? If not, then just let them know that you don't need the service. If one of these 3 services is something that you could use, I would definitely reach out to them to switch it to either accounting and bookkeeping, business planning and budgeting, or legal services. All right, so let me jump to the next one. And like I said, this is your homework to fill out that application to get into the queue for the BBPA Bates program. So the other one is the Digital Main Street, which has two components to it as well. So the first component actually has three. So the first one that I've actually used multiple times is called the Shop Here program. So if you're looking to get a website built that has e-commerce capabilities, or if you already have a website and you want to add e-commerce to it, they will actually build you a Shopify or a Square, it's called a Square, I think it's Marketplace, where it's an online market e-commerce platform that Square has, or there's a few other e-commerce platforms that they could use, but Shopify is the most popular one. So when you sign up here, they then connect you with an account manager that helps you build your Shopify store, and you can use that to add e-commerce to your current website, or you could just use the Shopify store on its own. And they're pretty quick at getting back to you. And like it says, it's at no cost. So you can get this built for you and not have to come out of pocket. The other program that they do run is called the Canada Digital Adoption Program. So this is where they support you with up to $2,400 to help with your digital marketing. So if you are looking to do fix your website, increase your SEO, or hire a company to help with your marketing strategy, you can get up to $2,400. And they do it as a reimbursement. So you do have to pay for the service, and then you get the money reimbursed to pay your expenses. But the third one, which I would say is the more popular one, is their RAISE program. So it stands for Racialized and Indigenous Supports for Entrepreneurs. You're able to get up to $10,000 as a grant to support with the growth and digital marketing of your business. And as we scroll down, you'll see they do talk about eligibility. So for the Canada Digital Adoption Program, you did have to have a payroll account and at least one employee. For the RAISE program, you actually don't need to have a payroll account. They do want to see that there's at least one person working in the business full time. So it's either you or an employee. And you'll see it's, they say 1 to 10 employees or equivalent. So if you have yourself or contractors, those would be equivalent to employees. But you can't have more than 25 employees. And you can't be part of a franchise, and you can't be a wholesaler or manufacturer. And this one is not for charitable organizations or nonprofit organizations. It is specifically to support for-profit companies. And down below, it does show the different eligible costs. So if you wanted to improve your POS system, if you needed business-related materials and supplies, if you wanted to pay for services, as I mentioned, like a marketing agency to help create your strategy, if you needed to do marketing and communications, and also building out your website. So those would be the main ones that I've seen people get the money for. And again, you can get up to 10,000. And what they do is actually put you in contact with Parkdale Innovation Center. So they have a mini cohort. It's about, last time I saw it was 2 webinars, and then Digital Main Street in this website, they have about 4 videos that you watch about digital marketing. And so when you're going through Parkdale, they have you fill out a spreadsheet that shows, hey, this is what I'm going to do with the money. This is my projections for the year. And once you finish that spreadsheet, you're able to apply for the funding. So I have seen few people get through it. I know it did go into waitlist mode as it was ending 2022. It's supposed to open back up in 2023. So if you come to the site and it's not open, please let me know, because I want to reach out to them and see what is the holdup. But this is, and you do have to create an account. So, oh, let me put this into the chat so I don't forget. but these links are all in the actual PowerPoint presentation as well. All right. So the next one, the investment readiness program, I started talking about it at the beginning because it's one of the best grants that I've seen that help for-profit companies and also nonprofits, but it's in that sweet spot called social enterprise. So if you're a nonprofit, you creating a revenue generating activity makes you become a social enterprise. And if you're a for-profit, you already have a revenue generating activity, but now depending on the impact, like the impact you have in the environment or the positive impact you have in the community, you'd be operating as a social enterprise. So you would qualify for both the investment readiness program and also the Toronto Enterprise Fund. So the investment readiness program, the federal government created a social finance fund of $755 million, and they wanted to invest into social enterprises, but they realized that a lot of the social enterprises weren't ready to take on that type of investment of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So they created the investment readiness fund or the investment readiness program to help get social enterprises ready to take on bigger investment. So that was open and closed December 1st. We have our ears to the ground to see if the next cycle is going to open soon, but we are seeing the decisions and the approvals and some of the declines that have been going out. So hopefully if you're part of some of those sessions, you did apply, and hey, looking forward to hearing some good news from you as well. But the Toronto Enterprise Fund, let's see, I think this is okay. This is a program supporting employment social enterprises. So they have two streams of funding. One, you can get up to $10,000 to do your feasibility study and your business plan for an employment social enterprise. So when I say having a positive impact on the community, if you're also hiring from a segment of the population that has difficulty getting employment, you'd be considered an employment social enterprise. So that's what the Toronto Enterprise Fund focuses on. So you're now able to get additional funding to finish your business plan or your feasibility study. And also when you get that done, you can get up to $100,000 to launch your social enterprise. So if you're running a business right now and you want to add on that employment piece to it, then you can go for this funding. And I do see the question, do we have to be Toronto residents? No, so they do service Peel, which is Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon, the GTA, and Durham, which is like Whitby, Halton. I think they loop that into Peel. So if you have to check a box, just pick Peel and you should be good. But they do have workshops. So they have the pre-recorded 101 and 102, which explains a bit more in detail what it means to be an employment social enterprise and also their process. So I'll put this into the chat. And then if you watch this webinar, it's really good to get an overview of what they do, what the types of funding that they have, and how you can apply for it, and also how you can shift your business into an employment social enterprise. So you can you could use this money to help you make that shift if you do want to expand the types of people that you are hiring to support the community in a better way. All right. So again, the Community Services Fund was, oh my goodness, $400 million that the government had put out to support organizations coming out of the pandemic. So depending on what you're going to do with the money and how you're going to pivot or expand upon how you already pivoted because of the pandemic, you were applying to the Red Cross or the United Way or the Community Foundations of Canada. This application did close already. So, and one thing, as I'm talking about this nonprofit section, if you're a for-profit company, you need to start thinking about how to collaborate with nonprofits, because nonprofits are typically open to more grant opportunities. and you can actually work alongside them to be either a service provider or a partner on some of the grants that they're applying for, or you can introduce these grants and maybe they weren't thinking of applying, and now you can work with them to get that money. Because that's something that with Detail Ignites, we started getting bigger grants because of our alignment with some of the nonprofits in the community. And these were grants such as the Ontario Trillium Foundation and the Youth Opportunities Fund that we wouldn't have been able to get without that alignment with the nonprofit. So don't ignore these grants that you're seeing that are just for nonprofits, because you can definitely use them as well. I did see which of these is good for Western Canada. I know the Community Services Recovery Fund, that was across Canada, so that was Canada-wide. Ontario Trillium Foundation and the Ontario Grant Portal, those are specific to Ontario, but they're provincial. So in each province, they would have something similar. So check to see if you're in BC, the BC government would have their own grant portal to see what's available to you. So now I did want to dig a bit deeper into the Ontario Trillium Foundation, because they have a grant that is coming up that I'm hoping everybody will apply for. And a lot of times, especially as for-profit companies, we tend to not pay attention to these grants. And I'll tell you from experience, this was one of the bigger grants that we were able to get because of our alignment with nonprofits and taking the community work that you do, pulling that out of your business and then making it its own entity. So the Youth Opportunities Fund, actually this test grant, I think it's going to show, it opens in May. Let me see, make sure that's right. Yes, so the submission for the expression of interest is going to be in May. But what we are doing is helping people complete their expression of interest as soon as possible. So actually next week. So what we typically do with our full boot camps is week-long, every day we're touching on a different section of the application. And so we're using the Youth Opportunities Fund because we can use this grant, finish the full process, and then when it does open in May, you're able to apply right away. But what it also does is help you identify all the different there's a lot of moving parts in a grant. So we section them out, and at the end of it, you have a fully complete grant, which tells the story of your nonprofit or your business, the project that you want to run, your work plan, which shows the timelines and the milestones that you're going to hit, the full budget, which shows all the different elements that you need to get money for, that you're going to pay for, and then putting it all together into a full grant application. So if you've never written a grant before, the working boot camp, like the working groups are usually one day, but this time we're doing a full week to say, this expression of interest is a great way to immerse yourself in grant writing. We'll walk you through the entire process. And then at the end of it, you have a completed application that you can submit. And you also have a full blueprint for your company, because I'm telling you, these provincial grants are typically the most tedious ones that you're going to find. So being able to do it as a group and work together will help you get it done. And then you can use it as a template for other grants that you're going to go for. All right. So if you have your phone, you can actually scan this. But Tiana, if you're able to put this link into the chat, and you can pick a specific topic around a grant. So if you just want to learn about the work plan, or if you just want to learn about how to structure your budget, but if you want to see it all put together, definitely come to each day, because this type of grant will help you create that blueprint that, again, for myself, when I was able to get the first Youth Opportunities Fund grant back in 2016, that became the template that I use for the majority of grants that I've written in the future. And again, ranging from as low as 500 up to over $1 million, all really stemmed from having this as a template. So next week, if you have time, it would be around 1 o'clock each day. And if you sign up, you do get all the recordings. So if you can't make it each day at that specific time, you would be able to get the recordings for those days and then refer back to it anytime you're writing grants, because all the grants have those same components. You tell your story, you tell your competencies, you show them the work plan, and you show them the budget, and it'll be the same every single time. One thing that I did want to touch on is I do also talk about loans. I know this specific session is about grants, but loans are typically shorter timelines to obtain. And if you do look at getting a loan, you want to make sure that you have a great plan with what you're going to do with the money so that it increases your revenue. And then that increase in revenue pays for the payments. So one thing, the ACBN, we do have our own microloan program. So if you're looking for up to 25,000, I would say it's typically geared to those that are struggling to get capital either directly at banks or with some of the other programs that a credit score minimum is 600. If you're under 600, it's good to still look at the ACBN microloan because we don't have a minimum credit score. Some of the other programs do involve like Access Community Capital Fund, Rise Asset Development. As I mentioned, there's the bigger loans with FACE Coalition up to 250,000. These main banks have their own Black entrepreneurship loan programs, and Alterna has a matching program with BDC, where if you get 25,000 from Alterna, BDC will match it, so you get 50,000 total. So something to keep in mind, these links will be in the PowerPoint for you to reference. But one thing, letting you know that if, again, you're here, I appreciate your presence. If it feels overwhelming and you do just want somebody to take grant writing off your shoulders and off your plate, reach out to Empowered Forex. I'll have Tiana put the email back in as well so that you can reach out and say, I just need this research and grant application writing and the follow-up done. And so I don't have to worry about it. And I just can see what grants are being presented and they're being applied for on my behalf. eForex definitely has that grant writing service. And really quickly, I want to wrap up saying we exist to see you win. And a lot of times as an entrepreneur or as an executive director, you are wearing so many hats, pulling so many levers in the machine of your business or your organization. So think of us at Empowered Forex as that project team that you can bring on to support you with the grant writing and of course with other operations, but we're focused on your getting access to funding. A breakdown of the different types of services that Empowered Forex does have. As I mentioned, Grant Hunter University is a go at your own pace online course where it helps you complete that blueprint that I keep talking about. So the videos that we've recorded that show step by step in each section of what a grant entails, the work plan, the budget, telling your story, how to craft the milestones, all that is there for you to be able to craft it yourself. And, or you can come to the working group next week and we'll do it within a week. If you do need help with the funding strategy, one-on-one, yeah, that's about $500. Or if you just want a list of grants that are specific to your organization or your business, we also can create a funding summary for you. Like I mentioned, if you just want to take all this off your plate, we're able to do the full service grant writing and also grant research. It does range between 500 to 3,000 based on how complex the grant is, but the service is here if you need it. And if you would like to touch base and also find out what might be the best service for you, feel free to book a meeting. You can go to our email connect@empoweredforex.com, and we would love to help you in this journey because the money is flowing all around us. It's time for us to position ourselves in front of that flow of money, and we'd love to help you get that done. So you can scan this QR code and you can fill out intake form, and then the team at Empowered Forex will follow up with you. All right, Tiana, I wasn't sure if I missed any other questions, or we can kind of pause here for anybody that has questions about anything that I touched on.
Yeah, so there's one question asking about the grant working group, asking if you are not youth focused, can we still come to that session?
I would, because creating that grassroots organization is something that you, even if you're not a youth, you can be a youth adult partnership. And the reason I use the Youth Opportunities Fund as a great first step is because the way that they structure the grant, you're going to be able to use that template for any grant you go for. But I would encourage you to figure out how to put together a grassroots team so that you can apply for this grant, because you don't have to be an incorporated nonprofit. You literally just have to put together the team that's going to execute this project. So you could be starting from scratch and you can get funding to test your idea. And okay, so for this one, oh, did I grab the wrong link, Tiana? Do you have a link to the intake form that we can put
Yes,
in the chat?
I will send it right now.
Yeah. And I think I saw, if anybody has any other questions, are nonprofit organizations that have operations outside of Canada able to access the grants? So the best way is for that organization to partner with a nonprofit organization in Canada. The Youth Opportunities Fund, that one is specific to Ontario. So working with an organization in Ontario, that would be the best way to apply for that specific grant. But sometimes I know Canada also has international grants, but usually it does take partnership with a Canadian entity. All right, you're welcome. And so I did see some of the upcoming events. So we do these grant writing info sessions each month. So the second Wednesday of each month. And the working groups, depending on what grants are active, we find a grant and then as a group, we work on it. Those ones are paid. So if you just want the information and you can work on the grant on your own, then the info session is great. If you wanted kind of that guided, we go question by question in these working groups, then I would definitely attend those as well. We have the DIY to Modify series, which is the DIY do-it-yourself way of running your business, to the Modify, making others do it for you. And I would say do it with you, like you are part of the team, but you need to have a team around you. So Empowered Forex can be part of that team. And of course, the monthly networking event in partnership with Jelly Social. And we have our financial literacy, not just webinars, but we're identifying how to navigate our financial literacy coming out of the pandemic and uncertain times with interest rates. It's a wild time when we're dealing with our finances and inflation. So we have this bi-weekly session starting tomorrow evening, where you can actually learn more about how to navigate these times we are in as we deal with our finances. And let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. Yes, so before we wrap up, I know we're up against 2 o'clock, so if you do have to jump off, feel free. I'll stick around just for a bit to see if there's any additional questions. Otherwise, please have a good rest of the afternoon, and definitely looking forward to seeing you at the working group. It's one of the best ways to get a grant written that is cost effective, and then you can use it multiple times. So I'll see you next week if you're able to make it.